my fellow Nigerians, stopping fuel imports for Dangote will kill many business. With President Bola Tinubu directive to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to sell the crude meant for local consumption to Dangote and other local refineries in Naira, a lawyer and energy consultant, Deborah Oshoma, says Dangote Refinery should sell fuel to depot owners and other marketers in local currency to ease forex pressure. There has been a series of controversies about the Dangote Refinery. What are your views about it? I think what is basically playing out here is like two friends quarreling over a pot of soup. You have a government that has been overly protective of Dangote, but now feels Dangote should play by the books, and then the man feels the government do not want to protect his $20 billion investment in a country where others are stealing and taking the money away. Well, I believe that every government should be protective of its local industries, but at the same time, those industries should not be overly protected to the detriment of the smaller players. If the government is waking up now, kudos to them. We don't want to create a monopoly. The government is not saying that they don't want to protect Dangote, but they are saying the terms of business should not be the one that will create a monopoly. I've had the cause to weigh the two and asked, why is the government saying Dangote is creating a monopoly? In my research as a consultant to the energy sector, I know that no government would ever put its energy security in the hands of one man or one company. They try to create a balance. Unfortunately, Nigerian society is one with a hard mentality where we like to support any person we feel is being deprived by the government, because the government has consistently punished us. The same people abused Dangote months ago when the former CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, was arrested. But today, the table has turned. The same Dangote is the darling of the people now. The people feel the regulators want to kill a local investment like Dangote Refinery. The government has said it doesn't want to kill it. What it wants to do is to ensure that the same way we have Dangote, it also wants to have other people who have invested trillions of naira in the downstream sector, like members of the Depot and the Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria and the IPMA. These are distributors and marketers. They are depot owners, and they should also survive alongside Dangote. If you put all of them under Dangote, that means you are putting your energy security in the hands of one man. What if the man wakes up one day and says, I don't have to give? From buying from him, it is the federal government that is dictating to them to stop buying from Dangote. Not in June, for example, the day the port owners met with Dangote saying that it would be cheaper for them to buy products from Dangote Refinery. But the business model has to be competitive. They requested that the price disparity also be favorable for them because it would be cheaper than the imported products. Also, they talked about trucking or using buses, and then they talked about foreign exchange. If you are selling diesel in Nigeria, they have to be buying in Naira. After all, they buy from the NNPC in Naira. All of these issues were discussed and Dangote agreed, but in the long run, it became business as usual. They had to secure the forest if they wanted to buy diesel from Dangote. The issue of having to truck the product is there. For somebody that has a depot in Calabar, for example, how do you expect that person to truck 15,000 metric tons of fuel from about 606 trucks? This is something a small person can carry at once and take through the sea, almost at next to nothing. Where are the roads that these 606 trucks will pass through? So these are the challenges that the depot owners have raised, and that is what led to this crisis. And so they complained because the Nigerian mainstream and the downstream petroleum regulatory authorities had stopped everybody from importing, saying they should go to Dangote. If it was the complaint of Dapman raising these challenges that led to the cancellation of that instruction, if Dangote's product is competitive, naturally, the marketers will gravitate towards Dangote, and Nigeria will be better for it. But if the regulator says everybody should queue behind Dangote, what you are doing is you are also frustrating other people's investment. You are enhancing Dangote's business to the detriment of the depot owners. I am not aware that Dangote is building pipelines. The question is that what is Dangote's investment in pipelines before the refinery? How do you build a 650,000 barrels per day refinery without thinking of where you are going to get your crude from? We know that Dangote is using a VLCC, very large crude vessel carrier, to carry crude to his refinery. These are what commodity traders also use. Go and check. The world over, if you build a refinery, you should be able to pipe crude to the refinery, not just piping crude. You should also be able to pipe out refined products. How come today the people who are building refineries in Nigeria do not have a facility to piping? In Dangote's case, you have to carry the crude oil from Niger Delta through the buses because there are no pipelines to take out the products also. There are no pipelines, so what you have is everybody will come and truck. Dangote Refinery has a gantry and that can load 3,000 trucks per day, which ordinarily should accommodate our national daily consumption. But the challenge for this national consumption is how are you going to take 3,000 trucks per day? Who fixes the roads? If you fix the road to the refinery, are you going to fix the one to Calabar, Abuja, or Port Harcourt. The essence of all of this is to allow both the big players and the small players to play. I am not a regulator, but if the IMPRA said the man wants to turn himself into monopolist, we should find out why they are saying so. How will it be possible without the convenience of the NMPDPRA? The regulator said Dangote is requesting the 450,000 crude oil available for local consumption, and that he also wants to stop the insurance of import license to depot owners. But the regulator said if it stopped issuing licenses, that would naturally eliminate competition in the markets. That means the marketers would have an alternative, so they will be tied to the terms and conditions of Dangote. But if they have an alternative to import, they will negotiate with Dangote from a position of strength, not position of weakness. That is why the regulator is saying we don't want you to turn to monopolist. I truly believe that no regulator should allow a player to become monopolist, especially in the energy sector. However, the idea of whether it is 45% complete, I don't agree with the regulator on that. The problem here is that most of these people in the regulatory agencies do not explain. They just say these things and they assume that the people they are talking to understand everything. But not everybody understands. The ordinary man on the street is hungry and angry with the government because industries are leaving Nigeria and prices are high as subsidies are being paid. So for that, anything against the government is fine. So he probably didn't explain it this way. However, I do not believe or agree that the Dangote Refinery is only 45% complete, because if it is so, it will not be producing an AGO. It might not be 100% complete, but certainly it is above 45% completion. If the government says it has not been licensed, that is not true. He has a license for test runs. If you say he doesn't have a license, how come he is refining products and selling them, and you are even giving him crude? That would be a major laxity on the part of the NMDPRA. All of this crisis is happening because we don't have enough crude and our refineries are not working. Because if our refineries are working, nobody will say that everybody should go and buy products from one source. Remember that $3.3 billion loan that we took from Afrexim Bank, 90,000 barrels per day were tied to it. Mind you, we lie to ourselves. NNPC said oil production had increased to 1.7 mbpd, and some said we are hovering between 1.2 mppd and 1.3 mppd. But in actual sense, if you do research, we are likely hovering between 700,000 ppd and 800,000, or maybe 1 ppd As for the international oil companies, there is a sharing formula, so you cannot compel them to sell their share of the oil from the government share. After deducting the one meant for local consumption, whatever is left is where the government source the forest from. So if you now put the 1 mint for local consumption in the hands of a Dangote refinery that is in a free trade zone, can you compel him to sell to the locals? Can you also control his price? What if he says his cost of production is higher than the government price? Are we not going to end up paying subsidy to one man? My fellow Nigerians, what do you see to all this? Father, it's only our Father that's going to deliver us from all these government tactics. So I want you to comment on the comment section your opinion. Subscribe to this channel. Love, share, and like. Thanks and God bless. Amen.